Hello, dear friends. The fastest way to travel through space is to fold it. Open in piece. Warp drive. Lost technology. Fold spacetime. Faster than light. To travel to the stars. Propulsion technology. Antigravity or levitation. Miguel Alcubierre invented it. Alternative scientific theories. Implosion instead of explosion. Viktor Schauberger's Repulsin. Let's start. The space warp or warp engine of the Star Trek Starship Enterprise could be a reality much sooner than we think. Space race toward faster-than-light interstellar travel is underway, although there are still many things to discover and invent. It is a sophisticated mix of traditional and novel gravitational techniques in order to create a curvature bubble capable of transporting objects at high speed. After all, the Milky Way is about 120,000 light years across, which wouldn't be an easy thing to traverse. The concept of a warp drive originates in science fiction, especially in the Star Trek universe, where faster than light travel is allowed. However, the idea has a theoretical basis in physics, particularly general relativity, and has been explored in the context of theoretical research in physics. Warp means in English to deform a wood. According to the latest scientific advances, a warp drive engine capable of warping space-time and allowing interstellar travel at superluminical speed is getting closer to becoming a reality. This theoretical model of space-time manipulation in the so-called curvature engines conforms to established laws. There are several groups of engineers and physicists in several countries dedicated to developing the first warp drive engine capable of warping space-time. Research teams in China, the US, and other countries are actively working to develop a prototype warp drive engine. They believe that achieving the first successful demonstration of space-time warp motion, probably in a laboratory experiment, would be a key milestone that would trigger a new space race. Model. A recent study published in the journal Classical and Quantum Gravity presents the first viable model of a conversion model based on the concept proposed by Mexican physicist Miguel Alcubierre Moya in 1994. Unlike previous designs, this new concept requires no energy negative, which does not exist in known physics. Alcubierre demonstrated that according to Einstein's field equations, it was possible to deform the geometry in space in a way compatible with what a curvature engine could do. However, from those same equations, it was deduced that to achieve something like this, compressing the space in front of us and expanding it behind us, an enormous amount of negative energy would be required. The Alcubierre warp drive is an idea that a spacecraft could achieve faster than light travel by contracting the space in front of it and expanding the space behind it, and that the assumption that a density field could be created, configurable energy less than that of a vacuum that is negative mass. The key idea is to create a warp bubble around the ship that would warp space-time, allowing it to travel at high speed without actually moving through space. This would avoid problems such as relativistic time dilatation. This warp thrust is based on a mathematical model that would allow faster than light travel without violating general relativity. In this idea, a model was built that could transport a volume of flat space inside a bubble of curved space. This bubble, called hyperrelativistic local dynamic space, is driven by a local expansion of space-time behind it and an opposing contraction in front of it, so that theoretically the spacecraft would be set in motion by forces generated by the change made in space-time. Challenges. Although this new design is a great advance, it will still require a large amount of power to operate. Furthermore, it would only allow sublight speed, without reaching the speed of light. For large-scale interstellar travel and becoming a Type 3 civilization, engines capable of exceeding the speed of light would be needed. In summary, the dream of a warp drive engine is closer to becoming a reality thanks to new theoretical designs viable within the limits of known physics, but important technological challenges remain logics to overcome before a working prototype can be built. If humankind has any hope of becoming a Type 3 civilization in the future, that is a society capable of harnessing all the energy of this galaxy. We are going to need curvature engines capable of warping space-time and exceeding the speed of light. Interest. This news came after AP announced the creation of the Warp Factory, an online toolset designed for researchers studying the physics and engineering of warp drives. Christopher Helmerich, another senior scientist, said his toolset was a really check for the warp model research field, and that the company plans to offer up to $500,000 in grants for research proposals is not based on exotic concepts such as negative energy or superluminal matter. According to AP, interest in warp drive technology has skyrocketed, something they have observed in the many investigations and presentations received from physicists around the world. More researchers are dedicating time to warp field mechanics, which indicates a positive trend in the growth of the community. The Repulsin. This resembles Viktor Schauberger's Repulsin, which was a flying disc design powered by an implosion vortex-based system, which was developed during the World War II. According to his theories, Repulsin could generate lift and propulsion by creating controlled vortices in fluids or gases, taking advantage of natural patterns observed in the movement of water and air. Schauberger's work on Repulsin was part of a secret German program to develop advanced spacecraft using antigravity technology. In summary, Schauberger Repulsin remains a fascinating but controversial concept in the annals of unconventional science. His vision of harnessing nature's patterns would challenge our thinking about technology and its relationship to the natural world. As we move toward a golden age, revisiting Schauberger's concept would provide unexpected insights into the future of propulsion technology. Repulsin is based on Schauberger's theories of implosion and vortex dynamics, which contrasts with the major explosion-based technologies of this time. The device is set to harness the power of spiraling implosive energy, moving inward to create lift and propulsion, unlike traditional methods that use combustion and explosive energy expanding outward, that is, implosion instead of explosion. The repulsin consists of a series of disks and channels that create a rotating vortex. This design is intended to induce a powerful implosive force, generating a vacuum effect that can result in lift and movement. Schauberger's work often emphasized the imitation of natural processes. The structure of the repulsin, which, with its helical shapes and spiral movements, is inspired by natural shapes such as water vortices and tornadoes. The device is believed to work by rapidly compressing and expanding air or fluid, creating a spiral vortex that produces a strong suction force. Schauberger theorized that by achieving high-speed rotation motion, repulsing could reduce drag and create a form of antigravity or levitation. Schauberger's ideas on fluid dynamics are rooted in his observations of nature, particularly the movement of water and air in spirals and vortices. He believed that modern technology based on explosive principles was inefficient and destructive. Instead, he advocated a harmonious approach using implosive forces to harness energy. Schauberger's invention attracted the interest of German military during World War II, as Repulsin had potential applications in propulsion technology, including airplanes and submarines. It is said that Schauberger was forced to work on his designs for the Nazi regime, specifically for the SS. After the war, Schauberger immigrated to the US, where he worked on several projects but struggled with financial and contractual disputes. Schauberger's vision for sustainable and harmonious energy solutions resonates with modern environmental and alternative energy movements. Some researchers and inventors continue to explore and experiment with Schauberger's designs, attempting to validate or interpret your concepts with modern technology. Schauberger's ideas have permeated popular culture and often appears in debate about lost or suppressed technologies and alternative scientific theories. His life and work have inspired books, documentaries, and a dedicated following among those intrigued by the possibilities of unconventional science. The underlying principles of this invention challenge conventional thinking and inspire continued curiosity and exploration. Whether seen as a misunderstood genius or a purveyor of French science, Schauberger's legacy continues to provoke thought and inspire motivation. And that's all for today. Thanks a lot, dear friends.